John, in his gospel, used a lot of symbols that were actually pagan, um, and he kind of twisted them and performed them into Christian symbols. And he used them in his gospel to describe Christianity. And the question is, was he right in doing that? And I mean, how do we present that kind of thing in our culture today? I mean, what symbols do we use in our culture today to represent Christianity, and is that right or wrong? And my reading is that it's okay to use pagan symbols and then kind of twist them into making them not on, like, to use them as Christian examples, because people relate to things that are common or present to them. Like, that's a huge thing. Like, Jesus used parables because people could relate to them and people understood them and they were used to them and they were common. Stories such as like the parables that Jesus used, people could relate to them and he could still convey his point even if the parables weren't true, like they didn't actually happen, or if the parables, some of the parables were kind of sad. So the things you had posted about shepherds and fish. So I looked and I read up on the original thing. I followed your links, and the fish, a large section about it was about the Christianity aspect of what the fish symbolizes, but a lot of the mythological aspects of it were talking about sexuality and the fertility goddess and Aphrodite and all these Greek and Roman goddesses that it was about sexuality, but that's not what it's known for today. I mean, like, I never knew that, and I'm pretty sure that the majority of people never knew that. So the fish became kind of transformed into a Christian symbol, even though it wasn't originally. But that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, because that's what it's known for today. And that was fishing was a huge aspect back in Jesus' time, and he said, "I'm going to become fishers of men," and then it kind of, grew, and that's I think that's one of the main reasons they kind of use the example. That's why they use the fish. Jesus said, "I'm going to be fishers of men," and so the fish got transformed into a Christian symbol along with the shepherd. And even like the original meaning of the shepherd, like the good shepherd, it was somebody, like, it was mythologically speaking, someone who put a ram on their shoulders and walked around or something like that to like cure the town from disease. And even if Jesus called the good shepherd, like, the mythological statement could even be used as a Christian symbol, in the sense that, like, Jesus, he was the sacrifice, and he saved all of us from sin, which was, I guess you could say, it was the disease, and by holding the ram and being the sacrifice and walking around and, carrying the burden. And so anything, like, essentially the point of that is, my statements are that we can twist anything to fit our own worldview. Even the worst things, the best things, we can twist it, and we can make it symbolize whatever we want. Sure, some things would be harder to symbolize than others, but we can twist anything, and we can morph anything to express our own views. Like, I kind of just jotted down some notes, and I wrote down prostitution. That's an awful thing, and pagans and Christians alike say prostitution. Most of us say, that's wrong. But we could even use that as a symbol. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't use that as a Christian symbol, but we could use that example of, okay, we use that symbol as Christians, as human beings, where prostitution is a sin. And we have to somebody can rescue us, and it's wrong, and we continue to go back to it as our livelihood. But, and it eventually kills us if we don't get out of it, and that's kind of like what prostitution is. So even such things as like prostitution and bad things like that, we can use them to symbolize whatever we want. So it's not wrong I don't think it's wrong at all that John used some pagan symbols and stuff like that to represent Christianity, because that's what people are accustomed to. And so, I don't know, it kind of goes back to what's the truth of a meaning, and so that kind of, makes you think, like, but I think symbols are symbols. They're not saying that symbols are truth, necessarily, but they're saying they're symbolizing something. They're symbolizing a truth. They're using that as an example for the truth, even though that's not the true meaning of what that actual thing is. Even though it's not the true meaning of what a fish using that as a symbol for what we believe the truth of the gospel is, or the truth of something is. So it's kind of it's complicated and sometimes mind-boggling, but that's what I think it's okay to use symbols, because you can pretty much twist anything and shape your own to express your own worldview. So is that